on social media? And then if we are, why are we crossing these lines?
I think the line is a boundary. If this person is not behaving in the way that you need them to, you need to set the boundary and not call them no more and not deal with them no more. So if I think a woman is acting too masculine or too whatever, I'm just not going to call her no more.
What is too masculine?
I don't think I've ever called a woman too masculine.
I never either.
Is there? Go ahead.
No, just to your point, I feel like what's missing in that little conversation is that there's a trauma that both Black men and Black women are experiencing simultaneously, and it's like for women, I think the elephant in the room is that a lot of us are single. A lot of us want men that are not available to us. A lot of the men are not dating women. A lot of them are in jail, in prison, and that's a whole byproduct of what you're experiencing. And then men are like, okay, well, if y'all saying a man don't do this, a man don't do that, you bitches ain't cooking either. Y'all the new YNs. Y'all the new men. Y'all got gold chains on. Y'all, and I think that we're both experiencing this trauma and we just don't understand each other together. And so you all may feel like, okay, well, you're more masculine. And I think the whole sassy nature of why we're doubting is because of the deficit and the lack. Black women and the available people, the available men to them, it becomes traumatizing, because if you are a woman and you go home on Thanksgiving and they're like, you still ain't got no kids, you still ain't found nobody, you still ain't brought anybody home. And I think Black men are experiencing a separate set of trauma as well, which is why I think that those shots are coming. Like, I think if you can understand a little bit of how women are, like, their lifestyle are evolving in terms of marriage, companionship, partnership, things like that. It's actually not like a shot that we want to take. It's just like, where the men at for us? Because we was watching the same Cinderella story, but we didn't get the prince. We was watching the same trope about, we had the same little cart growing up where they told us, the easy bake oven and the big house and things like that we were changing the baby's clothes. But here we are, grown adults, and we didn't get the kids and we didn't get the husband. And so it's really more of an understanding. And you're right, it doesn't come out well. I think the delivery is poor, but I think the heart of it is that, like, we're in a deficit. So and when y'all are doing that shit, it's like, please say you ain't another one that's on the other side that we don't have access to again, because we don't have access to viable partners as our other clear counterparts. I
don't know if I understand what was going on there.
It sounds like she's saying that there's not a lot of good men available. They sassy or whatever.
Or y'all in jail.
That's what I got. They in jail. Like, that's not true. Because from what I've been hearing and seeing just in my own community, people that I know, not just YouTube, is that there's men that women are looking for, and other men that pass them, they're not interested in. It's just a large percentage of men that they're not interested in. And sometimes it just has to do with simply height. Height alone will get somebody disqualified. You're not tall enough. When I wear heels, you got to be this height. And I'm like, that's not how you pick somebody that you're trying to be with for the rest of your life. So it's a lot of little, I say it's stupid, but a lot of stupid things that y'all, is what some women is missing. Like, you don't need that for it to have a good husband. You need to look at other qualities that is that's longevity. Height is not going to do nothing for you, because the tallest man and the shortest man can still have the same qualities. You can still be happy. You can still have kids. So I just think women need to reconsider some stuff and make it make sense for a lifetime. Things that that's not, I don't know, small.
The height don't look good on the Instagram picture.
I ain't gonna lie. Well, you know what? I would say I do know somebody who he didn't want his woman to wear heels because she will be taller than him. So I think it could go both ways as well with that. If you do get a woman that's tall, he could be intimidated as well if she's throwing some heels. Because if I put up, if I used to wear my red bottoms before I gave them away, they would make me 5'10". I'm already almost 5'7". I'm like 5'6", 5'7". So putting on some heels with a dude that's 5'6", he gonna be mad. I'm just saying.
But also, this whole height requirement thing, that's a young girl game. Like, that's what young girls think about. Very few older women even pay attention to height. I'm a tall girl. My only requirement is that you be as tall as me. That's the average man. So I still like by sheer numbers, I'm fine. But women, they exist. Some women exist in this lack mindset. That whole it's not, it's not a lot of men for women, and some of them in jail, and some of them do this, and some of them gay, and some. We have to stop operating on a lack mindset. That is something that people tell women, so we'll hurry up and choose somebody. There are plenty of men out here today. There is somebody for everybody. If you want to find your person, you'll find your person, but we have to, and she's not wrong about the traumas. That is a trauma that women live through daily. People be passing that off on us like, you better hurry up and pick something because you don't want to be old and unmarried. You don't want to be unhappy and married. Like, we have to stop acting like marriage is this great thing. And I'm not saying that it's a horrible thing. I don't speak down on marriage, but what I'm saying is that marriage is, I don't understand why you keep doing that. But what I'm saying is that marriage is hard. Marriage is not bad. You all will never hear me say that. I'm never talking down on marriage. But what I'm saying is marriage is hard. That is something that we have to sell to people. It is hard, and we have to teach people how to make it through that. We are selling people this fantasy of marriage. We're telling women to just be wives and be married and just tough it out. But you're not telling them the reality of how hard marriage is. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but it's also very hard. And if you are not truthful with that, then people are going to be like me, rush into marriage, say yes to the first person that asks you, and miserably fail at it because I wasn't prepared for what marriage truly is. People think it's a game, and it's not.
So it's only hard for people that's not prepared then. Don't say that marriage is hard. It's hard for certain individuals.
Yeah. Anything worth doing is hard.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I don't like using the hard marriage is hard term. But when I was married, it wasn't hard. We were just two different people.
Well, this is a thing too. We got to also understand marriage does not make you happy. You have to be you determine your own happiness. I don't know why we got to, I'm going to get married and be happy. No, you're not. The way you go into a relationship is the way you're going to come out. And that's just the way I stick with that. We got to understand that. And you're dealing with a whole different human being. But a lot of times people get into marriages thinking, when I hear people say, oh, I want somebody that's going to communicate with me. Yeah, look, communication is fine, but you got to understand how that's going to work. Communication is not all about, well, I'm going to say what I have to say, and it's going to be all said and done. No, sometimes some things are just going to go unresolved, and you have to be okay with that because it's not meant for it to be. You're not going to always agree with your partner or your husband. You're not going to always agree with that person. Sometimes you got to let things go. You're not always going to like the things that they like. And I'm just saying it is, and that's just like when me and the guy I did not marry, with my ex-partner, he loved race cars. What is that? Racetrack. I hated that stuff. But eventually, in order to spend time, I got in there and I said, let me see what, NASCAR and I started liking it.
I bet you learn how to play them numbers too. I bet you learn how to
do. I like NASCAR now. I got me a favorite driver and everything. But I'm just saying, you learn and you adapt when you want to grow and get to know that individual. You're not going to always like that individual. And this is why I always go back to what Ice Cube said when he was asked how he sustained his 32 years of marriage. He said, that's my girl. She ain't going nowhere. He said, I'm not always going to like her. She don't always like me. So, but we made a vow that we ain't going nowhere. And I'm done.
So I think when people talk about it being difficult or hard, it's the engaging of a power struggle and trying to become one person that might be difficult. And the more autonomous you are and operate separately, the harder it is for those two people to merge into one. When I was on another panel and they was talking about how it was a problem that men wanted submissive women. All that really boils down to is it's extremely easy to mold into one person with a very submissive woman, because she's clearly trying to follow whatever plan or process you got. And then there's not really much to fight about because she's already with it, and you can move forward and keep going. But if somebody's standing on, hey, I want to remain autonomous within this relationship so that I operate like this and I don't want to impede on these things, then yeah, you're gonna have a lot of conflict, because you're running head first in the trying to fit two people through a spot that one person is supposed to go through. Two have to become one for it to be easy. I think it's pretty easy. But it's a process occurring.
One quick thing, I'm gonna land. I do believe three things need to align with each other overall, and that's faith, family, and finances. Because finances will tear you apart, families, because who gonna mom and daddy gonna live it when they get old? I think that those things do have to align, and then you can go from there. That's just what I see.
That's what's up.